give out, I let love, I let go, I release, and I know I forgive, I receive, I can feel, I believe, I am healed, I am whole, I release, I know.
Welcome to the Brahma Kumaris, where a new world is opened up for you. From humble beginnings in India in 1936 to a global organization with over 8,000 centers in 110 countries and 1 million students worldwide. Through their tireless commitment, passionate heart, and determined spirit, the Brahma Kumaris arrived in America in 1974 and have since grown to 35 main centers throughout America. There are also 2 residential retreat centers, Peace Village, located in upstate New York, and Anubhuti, located in Novato, California.
I want to just share a little bit about how the centers of Raj Yoga meditation began in United States. Actually, I was in Caribbean islands and I got invitation from New York that we want to start something about meditation. And it was in 1978 I came here and we rented a very small apartment in Astoria. And from there I found that a lot of people have interest. I realized that there is so much need, and from there onwards, then centers started in many other states.
Our centers are safe spaces where you can explore the power of your inner world.
The classes are conducted in many, many homes, many cities, all over across the United States. A lot of people, they learn meditation, they use it, that meditation at their workplace, in their family, and also I find that children, young adults, because they are so much into like what really is the life about.
The Brahma Kumaris are dedicated to personal and global transformation through the study and spiritual practice of Raj Yoga meditation. And at the heart of our teaching is the belief that the pathway to peace and happiness is to remember our original nature as spiritual beings, connected to the one source. In 1981, the organization received recognition as an international non-governmental organization affiliated with the United Nations and accredited with general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council. From organizing large-scale global initiatives to local community programs, the Brahma Kumaris has a tradition of service in every field that fosters spiritual growth among individuals from all backgrounds, cultures, and walks of life.
I hold on to this vision, the world of love, world of peace and harmony, world which is free from conflict and sorrow, where we can live as brothers, one family, children of common parents, one supreme divine power.
This is your invitation to awaken and join us in creating a world of love, peace, and kindness. Om Shanti. Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome to your next normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna, and look who we have in the studio. Okay, let me take 1 second. Let me see if anyone can guess who's sitting at my side. Louise F., Samantha Pearson, Nikki Dickey, any of you, Indu, anybody, Asmita. Guess what? This is the famous Portia Davidson. Give her a big hand.
Hi, everybody.
So Portia came by with this large basket of fruits, which I'm yet to actually bless my eyes on, but I know I heard them upstairs. And she always, let me tell you, Portia will always come by, and she never comes by empty-handed.
Oh, no.
There was even a few years ago, she came by around the Christmas and holiday time with bags of gifts, and one of the gifts even had a gift that I gifted her. But I love that. I love that.
That's great.
Anyway, welcome, and it's so
Thank
nice
you.
to see you.
Thank you, Sister Jenna.
How have you been coping with the pandemic and all of that?
Well, I was sick almost the whole month of April, but and you asked me about that. I think on one of your shows, but I'm 1,000 times better, thank God. Baba, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
And doing well, and I wear my masks, and I social distance. I obey the rules of science, and we all need to pay attention to the science.
Yeah.
As we see this disease cropping up in
Everywhere.
France and Mexico and even in the United States.
Yeah, it's not giving us a break yet. And I was
No.
just asking Porsche that I don't understand if we were locked down for 2 weeks, a month, 2, 3 months, this disease should have disappeared. I know New York is doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York is doing good. But
They do.
everybody, you remember when Porsche had that illness with her hand,
Yeah.
and she had actually gotten it broken or something, and then
Yes.
apparently a little bit of water had gotten into her cask. Now look at her hand. You want to show that? Look, it's like
It was
perfect.
burned so badly. The cast was contaminated. It almost looked like gangrene. The doctors had never seen anything like it. It was only on for 10 to 12 days. And when they cut it off, all the skin went with it, and the hand was completely contaminated from here to here. But I have a friend out in Los Angeles that has a company called Primicino Divine.
No,
It's
say the
hypochlorous-
company again.
Primicino Divine, and another. It's her name is Jackie Cho, and it's she makes hypochlorous acid solution, which is salt water, electrified salt water. And then I have another contact in Florida, Curative Bay, his company, and it's also hypochlorous acid solution.
So tell me, what is hyperchloric acid solution? Because the moment I hear like acid,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, I don't want to put acid on my skin.
Right. It's salt water. That's what it is. Hypochlorous acid is salt water, but again, it's a processed salt water, and there are many ways to process it so that it's completely it's antibacterial, antifungal. It can cure MRSA and even some forms of COVID.
Wow.
So I, as an esthetician, I tell people when I work with people that have severe acne and all of these, I spray them down with hypochlorous acid solution after I deep cleanse the face. And then you'll see a tremendous difference in your skin.
You even said that, everyone, Santosh picked up shingles in his left eye. So it's been a little bit hard for him to deal with the computer and the screens and a lot of lighting. So Portia actually says that you could use this in his eye. And of course, Santosh with his patch, he looks like a pirate right now, walking around with his patch. He's like, I don't know if I want to put acid in my eye, but
Well, it's
you can
not,
actually...
it's frightening when you hear the word acid. I
Acid,
should
yeah.
say solution.
Solution,
Because
okay.
it is a hypochloric solution, but it is salt water, and it is, like I said, a processed salt water. But I will get Santosh some bottles of that. And after 4 or 5 days of treatment, my hand was completely, if you saw the photographs, you wouldn't
saw
believe
it, I saw
it was
it.
completely healed. So,
It was, everybody,
I mean,
when I saw it, Portia's arm was literally green and blue.
yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Even if you were to put makeup to make it look like it would look sicky, It was real stuff. And when I saw her arm this morning, I was like,
completely
wow,
healed.
that was amazing.
Completely,
That was
yeah.
amazing. So I don't know if you all know how way back our relationship had traveled. I was a young yogi in Washington, D.C., always inspired and determined. And on June 10th, we had received a proclamation entitled the Dadi Prakash Mani Day from the former Mayor Anthony Williams back in those times. And every year we would do a event or a program or a project for the city. One of the projects that we did was called Remember Me, which was using the art piece of 3 worlds of consciousness. And I don't know if Santosh can put that up on the screen to show you, but it was entitled Remember Me. And the Remember Me project where had us lay these life-size big banners around Embassy Row in Washington, D.C., Judiciary Square. It was all over Washington, D.C., and it was basically to invite people to really have a moment of stillness by understanding that they have the power to think beyond the physical world and all the activities that are taking place. So I met with the chaplain of the Pentagon because he was driving by that route of Embassy Road all the time. And he was curious to find out who is doing these Remember Me banners. So we ended up connecting and meeting each other, and that's the banner there that Santosh has put up. And it's it's so sweet. It was an artist from Australia that actually got the graphics designed for me based on the vision that I had of this. So the physical world is the world of karma, the world of white light is the world of subtle feelings and pure vibrations, and the golden part of the world of light is the journey back home. It's where God resides, the energy of God's loving vibration. It's where we go in meditation. So anyway, as I was saying, that that particular image was extremely powerful for us to really set our eyes on. So Chaplain Benson was his name. And we ended up having a wonderful meeting at the Pentagon. And then I decided, you want me to get Deepak Chopra to come? Maybe we can do a nice message for the soldiers. And this is, of course, pre-9/11, I believe. And Deepak came, and Deepak, as you know, is an amazing orator and author, and he was gifted the presentation of the flag, which is a big honor, of the United States flag. I forgot the proper wording of it, but when you are gifted, I didn't get a flag, but Deepak got the flag.
I bet you won.
But he was gifted the flag that is really in an honored form and in a case. And so Deepak was sharing, as he usually does, eloquently and scientifically. And then I went up, and I'm so simple in my conversations. I'm not this eloquent speaker that kind of blows your mind. I'm like, hey, you know? But Portia was in that audience.
Oh, yes.
And that's where we first met.
I worked with the Assistant Secretary of the Army as strategic planner at the Pentagon, and I have to tell you that everyone in the audience, and I mean everyone, these are senior level commanders, general officers, flag officers we call them. These are all stars, and
some staff too, some regular staff.
And their staffs at the Pentagon. But I mean, these were high level officers and high ranking senior executive officers, civilians. And when Sister Jenna came on to speak, I can tell you that the entire audience, and I observed this carefully, the entire audience went from looking up like this and trying to think about concepts
of what Deepak was sharing.
Chopra was sharing. It's very complex. But when Sister Jenna spoke in her beautiful, calm, meditative voice, and she was able, through her words and her just general speaking, as she does with her wisdom, we were lured in listening like this. Who is this person? What? That we've never heard anything like this. And then, you know, she was introduced. This is Sister Jenna, now Dr. Jenna, proud to say that. And she was just so mesmerizing and so interesting. Because
that's
the
where we
things that
first
she
met.
was saying, yeah, it was
So-
just marvelous.
So we first met at the Pentagon, everyone,
Yeah.
and after that, it's been excitement, drama, adventure, many, many opportunities. We did the launch at the Bahrain Embassy called Face to Face, where 4 of us came together to talk
Harriet
about
Fulbright.
4 women, Madame Harriet Fulbright,
Marcia Dyson.
Marcia Dyson, who's an author and an activist, Zainab
Yes,
Al-Sawaj,
she's
who was very instrumental in working with the Bush administration to overthrow Saddam Hussein, and little old me, and quiet little old me.
Fantastic.
And we were 4 women speaking about forms of diplomacy that can move us more towards peace. And then we bumped into Portia again at the Bahrain Embassy, and then we started to grow more and more, doing more activities at the National Press Club. We became good friends with Jan DePlane, who does Passport DC, and just so many years of friendship and love.
We did the World
and
Children's Festival.
we did the
had-
World Children's
we had
Festival.
all the children from 27 countries.
Oh, and she
come to
brought
the
a whole
museum.
bunch of the children, yes, 27 countries, to the
Child
Meditation
artists.
Museum. And we did a project of Arts for Peace. So the children drew art pieces that would show what the world would look like if people just got along. And we were actually supposed to gift those art
Right.
pieces to the former
Congressman-
late Congressman John Lewis, right? Was it Lewis or
Congressman
Cummings? Cummings, right.
Who
So
had the Cultural Revolution in Baltimore. I mean, he was
Yeah.
just so profound with his work.
So we still
And-
have those pieces, which we,
Oh, you still-
now that you're telling me, I'm going to definitely, we have to definitely do something with that.
We'll have another exhibit.
So I'm
with them.
giving you an idea of how these friendships and relationships go way back.
And you also spoke at our Coast Guard Summit.
Oh, and she
that
did
was
this
enormous.
wonderful strategic Coast Guard summit because what had happened was one of the members of the Coast Guard, unfortunately, had found a noose that was left in his locker. And it was a really big drama that the Coast Guard doesn't stand for this. So Portia was the one to really lead the Coast Guard towards a form of saying, how can we find a way to really get along even despite our differences? So she held this fantastic conference at the Coast Guard, and she made
Well,
me one of the main speakers as well. And
Yes, indeed. We had, well, we did it was our first diversity and inclusion. I was director of diversity for the workforce and inclusion to the Coast Guard, and wrote, really was
it was a
behind-
huge
yeah,
program.
Wrote the diversity and strategic communications plan, long-term plan, and it was just incredible. We had so many wonderful speakers, but Sister Jenna, you added so much
It was lovely.
intense.
Well, my
yeah.
favorite part of the military is the Coast Guards because it's the
Yeah.
least violent one. But I also had the privilege of producing a meditation CD for them entitled Off to Work.
It was wonderful.
And that was really a blessing. It's just very simple, which actually is online and for sale at the americameditating.org, and I think the Meditation Museum website. So you get an idea of the energy of work of Portia and how much we have done together over the years. And today we're talking about how to release burnout. And so here you're looking at 2 souls in female bodies who have been very much engaged in the world. Now she's the president of the Piano Arts Council, and that does a lot of work too. And
International, yeah.
and this Friday they're doing a very big performance. So again, how do we release the burnout, which means how do we manage the soul taking on board so many responsibilities and still be able to find your respite or your comfort or your joy? Because a lot of times when we're stressed, we lose our joy and we lose really connecting to the people especially that matter the most to us. We tend to take advantage or take for granted the people who are closest to us when we're stressed out, and we forget to accept that sometimes the people closest to us are actually the people that we can take support from. But one of the components to adding the level of stress to our burnout is that we don't practice the right kind of an attitude or thoughts towards the people that we're closest to. I'll tell you, one of the biggest factors of making the soul feel overwhelmed and stressed is when your husband, your wife, your children, your mother-in-law, your roommate, when you're not having happy thoughts about them being around you. So like you're saying, oh, I can't stand this when you do this, or you're always doing this, or even if you're thinking of the person in which it doesn't raise their vibration, it's adding to your stress factor. So even you might be walking around the house and you have love for them, but also there's that element of attachment. And that attachment breeds the waste and negative thoughts about your spouse, about your in-law, about your children, about your roommate. And when we do that, it adds an emotional weight, which is why I've always shared again and again, and maybe always is a big word, but I try to, at least as much as I can, try to really reduce how much negative news you take on board, because those are thoughts. And the news that we're connected to is connected to what we call our country, our world, our people, our language, our race. And when you're hearing that information, whether it's about a leader or a person of responsibility or someone that you feel has been victimized, it weighs on the soul. And once it weighs on the soul in terms of creating sorrow, sadness, anger, rage, anxiety, powerlessness, hate, that adds to our stress factor. So let's say we have 5 things that we have to do today. There's some people who walk around all day with only 5 things to do. And at the end of the day, you ask them, so what did you get accomplished? They said 2. So what that shows to me is that there's so much going on up here, which is of no constructive efforts. And then they've wasted their time and their energy, and maybe the energy even of the space. And that means, where are their thoughts? Are their thoughts somewhere where it's not connected to their vision? Are their thoughts connected to waste, negativity? Are their thoughts connected in desires that are unwarranted for the soul? Those thoughts actually slows down the soul's ability to perform and to do more good actions in their lives. So that's all coming from the attachment kosha. So when you're really trying to release the burnout mechanism, which sometimes we go through, I remembered once I was going through a particular period where just mentally I wasn't in my best spiritual place. And I can feel it. And when I go through it, you can see it on my face, because my face is like transparent. And I know that. And I knew that even in my community, they could see that I was going through something, because I can't hide it. But I knew it was because of an expectation that I was holding for a particular person. And even though I knew that wasn't the right thing, it was so powerful and strong in me that I had to keep trying to overcome it. And it was definitely after our election that I went through 8 months of just knowing that I don't need to have these thoughts. I need to break them. But I have to say, diving into the space that I had gone into, it helped me to rise above, which is why during the pandemic, no problem, let's get on with the next business and the next mode of affairs. I hate to hear that there are 200,000 souls in our country alone that has left their bodies to move on to other bodies. That doesn't make me feel good, especially to the family and the friends who never got a chance to see them when they were alive in a way that they could share their final stories with them. So it's like there's a lot going on, and we are being burnt up because of a lot of these negative vibrations. So one of the things I know that Portia does to help to release stress and tension is her facial spa treatments that they do. And by the way, Portia's face is just naturally flawless. So even if she advertises her treatment centers that she does for her face, it doesn't count. You need faces like me. If you can work on my face and fix it, then you're good. But you've got like perfect face. But the thing I'm saying is that some of us do like spa treatment. Some of us go for walks. Some of us exercise. Some of us change our diet or look at our diet. Some of us will drink more water. And some of us will look for better friends. Some of us will go on a vacation. Some of us will sit and do meditation, which is all important. But most important for me, to release the energy of burnout, change the way you're thinking.
Absolutely.
Create a disruption in your pattern of thinking until you just shift that whole negative pattern of thinking and really move into more of that soul conscious dimension. So I want to kind of ask Portia now, in terms of when she was so heavily involved with the government, and you redid the whole diversity structure, especially for the United States Coast Guard, which until today, they're still using the model that you have offered.
Yes, correct.
When you found yourself like completely stressed out and burnt out, do you remember what were some of the tools that you applied that helped you, if at all any?
A is for attitude, and I have to. I'll have you all remember that. When I was at the Pentagon, I was getting barraged every moment with sticky notes on my computer. I need this speech. I need this general officer's going there, going to Korea. We need a speech. Will you help us? Will you do it? At first, I was so overwhelmed because I, also worked for the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Manpower Reserve Affairs. Very big, involved office. In my office, we roll in cubes. They roll colonels, and very active. High level office. No nonsense. You get an order. It's like being in the military in many ways. But they were all so nice, so wonderful. So I had to change my attitude, and I've done this throughout my career. I've never had a job in my 38 years serving in Germany, 15 years, Poland for 2 years at the University of Poznan, Okinawa, Japan. I managed all the military installations there, headquarters, military intelligence, space and missile defense, headquarters, all at the headquarters levels, and being a female in those roles.
Mm-hmm. How was that?
When I was deputy commander, that was my title. As a civilian, I was, I think one of the first deputy, I was called deputy subcommunity commander of a military base in Germany, in Gelnhausen. It was a subcommunity of Hanau, part of 5th Corps in Frankfurt. And I had an all-military staff.
Mm.
So when they saw me, they didn't know how to deal with this. It was overwhelming for them. So it was challenging. And I really had to prove myself. I think in every job I had, I always had to prove myself. And I wouldn't let it stress me to such a degree where others would think I'm weak or, no, that's important. And I tell women this, I've given lectures on this actually. You don't want to appear weak because you're overwhelmed.
Oh, wow.
So stress can ruin your health.
Now, what's your definition of weak? Means that you get a little bit emotional and you break down?
Exactly. That's exactly what the definition is.
But isn't that okay for a woman to be a woman in the workplace, even though she's capable of doing the job? What's wrong if she breaks down and cry? I mean, I've had moments, even within my community, I get emotional and they look at me like I don't have permission to be emotional.
I think it's important, and I know my good friend Barbara Corcoran will agree with me on this.
Is that the one from Shark Tank?
Yes, and she will agree because I've heard her say, you can cry, but please don't do it in front of your colleagues in a situation where you're going to allow them to be overwhelmed because it is contagious. And
well, that's a
you
good
want to
point.
be able to control yourself. So focus and self-control is absolutely critical in the workplace.
So attitude, focus, and self-control.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is absolutely critical. And just because they were all men, I mean, I was extremely frustrated. But when they saw what I could do,
that's the thing. That's the point I wanted to get to.
I had to prove myself, and they saw what I could do.
I'm saying this because I think one of the reasons that we're so burnt up is that we're not able to really be ourselves. And I'm agreeing with what you're saying. However, one of the things I've been observing historically, has been the influence and the power when a soul is in a female body, how much she is able to accomplish. And so why should she have to conceal her emotions when still she is more than capable. And let me explain why I'm saying this to you and everyone, is that one of the things is that we fall into a genre where we try to project and be what we think other people want. And then you've got a group of people who then start to condition their thinking and say, yeah, a woman has to be tough in this role and be this and be that for us to feel comfortable. And I think we're at such a profound time of transitioning that a woman can be vulnerable in the boardroom and she can break down and lose it if she wants and still get the job done. So she's allowed to be herself, that she doesn't have to be someone else. And I think until we can recreate that narrative to prove that I can still do it. And I hear what Portia's saying. Everybody, I used to be like that. I would be the one that would show up and offer you what I know you needed from me, just so we could all look good in a company, in a business. And as I've grown more and more into my own spirituality, and something I took from Lou Gossett Jr. yesterday, which was amazing, amazing. Lou said, I can finally look into the mirror and like what I see.
That's beautiful.
And that's what I feel that we all need to do. And once we can do that, whatever are the stresses, you guys have seen how much it must take even for our staff to work from morning until night to produce all the shows that we do. When Portia came in, we were doing a session for Africa, the whole region of Africa. And so right after that, then we're doing this session. And so again, if the heart and the attitude, if the attitude is good, there is focus and there is self-control to an extent that your self-control isn't deceptive to you, then by all means go for it. So when we look at how much you've done, and because you're not in a male body, then maybe you don't get all the credit. But why has it gotten like that? It shouldn't be like that. I know how much we have done, and I'm not saying that we get the credit. We don't get the credit, but we're not doing it for credit. The soul is doing things because of the call from God, and God is definitely bestowing the energy to do all the things that are happening. It continues to confirm that what you're doing is really good. If you don't get acknowledgement, you can sometimes question it. So you want to get confirmation. But again, this is my point of view, and I know what Portia's saying is right, because in the military, I'm sure it's a different cup of tea. Okay.
Recognition is absolutely essential. Take care of your employees today, to this day. Every month, when I was in Gelnhausen and everywhere I've been stationed, every month I would parade the managers up on the stage, and you're going to get an award for your good work. Most of the disgruntled employees that I've ever known have not been recognized, not been appreciated. You want to be appreciated.
Yes.
I was speaking in Texas at a Woman of Color. I received a Woman of Color Special Recognition Award from the Woman of Color Conference in Dallas many years ago.
That was wonderful, though. I remember.
And I was on a panel with the Vice President Bruce Allen Hamilton, and this rocket scientist, these are all STEM geniuses, raised her hand and said, well, I'm being bullied by my boss. And so the other comment from the other speaker said, well, you have to show respect and all of that and all. But I said, I'm from New Jersey. From New Jersey. Nobody should be bullied. Nobody should allow themselves to be bullied by anybody, by anyone. I don't care what your rank is, who you are, what your position is, and including the highest levels here in our country. You can't allow yourself to be bullied, because that shows low self-esteem in its own right.
Or fear. I'm still working on
fear.
that.
That's another big word.
Sometimes I'll find that if someone has been a little aggressive or very, very unkind, I will show up to the best of my ability. But if I'm deeply honest, I can feel a little bit like my heart collapse, like I feel a little bit hurt by what they just said, did, or didn't do, or should have done. And I'm still working at that super, super subtle level, that even if somebody seems to be so uncaring about the bigger picture, let's say, for example, especially with our team and folks, just yesterday I was talking, we had invited the family for a get-together at Peace Village Learning and Retreat Center. And someone texted me back, oh, well, I said, I'm waiting to get the numbers because we can be only 20 to 25. And I texted back to the person. I said, okay. They said, I will love to go. And I said, sure, as long as I get the numbers in, then I'll let you know. Then the person texted back and said, oh, well, don't worry, I don't have to go because I'm online with these people all the time. I don't need to go. And then I sent back, because this is a person who is supposed to be very, very close to our unit. So I sent back a message and I said, what do you mean you're online with them all the time? I don't know anything about that. And then I would notice that the person would be more frustrated with our team, and they're in our team. And I said, that doesn't sound right, that you'd be frustrated with the duties that are needed from your branch, your place, and then you are online with so many other people that I have no idea with. And all of our centers work with a lot of respect. You always check in with the main person before you make any decisions outside. It's everywhere. It's an office policy. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
So I had not heard back from the person, and I was just saying, well, maybe that's why they get sometimes frustrated when we offer them an opportunity for service, because they're overwhelmed doing things for everyone else except the charity at their own home. So I just thought to myself that, what is in that particular energy that they're burnt out doing something for a whole bunch of people, and at home they can't take care of their own people. And so I think like there's something going on at an emotional, mental level, which doesn't allow us to connect our energies in a beautiful way. And when your energies are connected with intentions, sincerity, love, kindness, understanding, and loyalty. And I'm not saying that in one way the person helps out, in one particular way, maybe economically. But to me, that's just not all. When you're in a main team dynamics, it's the emotional support and sense of trust and loyalty that matters the most. And so I thought that was a unique moment that I had last night. And I just said, why would they do that? Like, none of us in our core team would make decisions outside of our business, our structure, without checking in. So then I thought, is it our ego? Is it this? Is it that? What is it? Or is it just I don't know the protocol? So in the Army or in the military, for example.
We have values that we're rated on: respect, loyalty, devotion to duty. Even the civilians are rated on these values. Value system.
And what's it like?
It's critical.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite words in the world is empathy. So my mother always told us as children, walk a mile in their shoes. Like you said.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge?
Right.
And I love what you said this morning with your program in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I don't judge. We don't judge.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
What you said.
It's really important.
Yeah. Now, respect plays a very big role. It does. It's only a matter of sheer respect to share information.
Yeah.
Especially if it impacts the
whole
program.
the bigger unit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that makes sense to me, to just basically share the information. And I think it's also calling us to have our own self-respect that we can particularly do that. And I think those particular behaviors that some of us carry, known or unknown to us, is adding to our burnout mechanism. Because I've seen it again. I told you, somebody will have maybe 5 things to do in a day, and they're only able to accomplish 2. And that's because they're not coming from that place as well, maybe, of self-respect and value and worth, because of all the excessive other body-conscious thoughts that might be weighing down the soul. I mean, if Santosh or Antonio were to tell you in a day how much we achieve and nobody has any idea, you would blow your mind. Remember when we got the PhD for a wonderful college,
right.
St. Thomas Aquinas College.
My alma mater.
And one day, actually, Portia has been so gung-ho in nominating me to be a CNN hero. So
That's right.
many years, she kept going to Antonia, come on, we got to make Sister Jenna CNN hero. She deserves this award, CNN. And so anyway, long story short, everyone, she and Antonia put together to kind of see some of the things that I've done. And by the time she kind of got a little bit, she goes, there's no way she's done all of that. And it's just like, yeah, and that's really just maybe 20% of what we've done. So
Pretty
again,
amazing.
it comes back to you will be burnt out if your attitude, focus, and self-control isn't in the right place. That's
And
the barometer.
prioritization is critical. You could have 10 jobs. I have a daily list. So you prioritize the most important things
Yeah, that's
that
a
have
good
to get
idea.
done. It's absolutely critical.
So,
So what's the most important thing? And I would do that every day when I was working.
Santosh, did you hear that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
The
good one.
most important.
Prioritize.
Get those done first, and then what can wait? And that'll help you de-stress with
Yeah.
the amount of tasks that are done on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And we all have tasks, no matter what job we're in, and the new jobs that we take on. So those most critical things have to get done first. So you'll get them all done.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, attitude plays a big role, and focus.
So tell me, what's your definition of attitude?
Being positive. When I left the Pentagon, everybody, I have a plaque as you come in my house in the office, they all said the same thing. It's incredible. Everybody said the exact same. You can read. I'll bring it to show you. Your positive attitude helped us get through the day. Portia, thank you, Commander so-and-so. Your positive attitude, because I had to change my attitude.
Yeah.
I came in disgruntled. I said, this is impossible. This is crazy. They're asking too much. And I would throw my hands up and say, what do you want to get done first? So I changed my attitude.
I love that.
And I'm telling you, and I have to show you this, everyone said the exact same. Your positive attitude, your positive attitude.
No, but I believe
That's why
that.
I say A is for attitude. But on the other hand, if you see a situation that is out of control, where you have a bully come in and say, I need your help.
How do you handle bullies? Because I'm sure you must have met a few in the
All the
military.
time. All the time.
How did you handle them?
There are bullies that I all the time. Just being in the political arena.
How did you handle them? Do you remember one particular case?
I can give one case that there was a retired command sergeant major that was my civilian misconduct officer at a community of 5,000 people, military and civilian personnel, to include all the 57 agencies that I had to manage on the installation. And when I first got there, he just wouldn't even look at me. He would, as soon as I'd walk down the hall, he'd close the door.
Oh, I've had that experience.
And just close the door, and I would move on, go to my office, and prioritize with my XO, Captain Pond, his name was. All right, what do we need to get done? I first would have had an early morning meeting with the commander in his office at 7, and then start work at 7:30 in my office, which was around the campus of the installation. And but here's the thing, his name was Al Chambers. Al, if you're still there, Al Chambers was my retired command sergeant major in the Army. It's a big rank in the enlisted corps, and requires a lot of discipline and self-control. And he did such a magnificent job as civilian misconduct officer. We had a lot of issues. There were kids that would come over with their military parents and get in trouble. And we would have a court, just like you do in the civilian world, which is headed by a colonel. Most of them are attorneys, and he would either send you home for misconduct, and it had to be very severe.
I can
constant problems. He was so amazing with his ability to empathize with these kids, and sometimes spouses, male or female.
Right.
And so you've got to go, this is it. And he'd bring the rulings to my office. And I commended him for his great work. And again, it's back to recognition.
And empathy.
We were best friends.
Yeah.
We became best friends. He would come in my office all the time. Miss Boja, my name was Boja. Miss Boja, here's or he'd call me DSCC. Deputy Subcommunity Commander, DSCC, look what I got. And I commended him and recognized him in front of the entire installation.
Listen to this, everyone. Portia is making a very important statement that recognition and acknowledgement will actually keep people inspired and motivated. And I've also seen, too, that sometimes when people hold back, their recognition or appreciation of you, they feel they're feeding your ego because maybe you're coming from a different place. So I think there needs to be like a discernment with it in order to help us to keep growing.
Excellent.
And the whole thing about burnout, again, it's that it comes from one, your attitude or maybe lack of it, and your inability to focus. I'm taking from Portia's 3 points that she's offered us today as the gift of today's talk. And the fact that we lack focus. Have you ever heard the story or the plight of a current retired person, that when they're retired, they're most stressed because they don't even know what to do with themselves, and they kind of take a few months or even a year to acclimate themselves to their new sort of a newfound, regiment or routine and so on. And so when you think about the importance of focus, is that focus helps you to stay on track and to fulfill what your priorities are. We have a story with Antonia and I. It's like, Antonia has to write everything down and get this date and everything, and I get that. But once either her or Santosh will tell me something, I know that because I value what they say and I respect them, that they're not going to give me a date or time for something that I'm not supposed to record. Like they know they shouldn't tell me something that is of no relevance to me, right? Then I don't want to record that. So a lot of times when they tell me something, I think it's true, Antonia, and you can put in the comments list if I'm telling a lie, but 9 times out of 10, don't I basically remember everything without a book? Without a notebook.
It's a great skill.
And I don't know if it's a skill, but something I've been trying to teach them, especially because they work so close to me, that whatever somebody tells you that you respect and you are loyal to, know that it has merit and value. So if somebody says there's a meeting at 1 o'clock, you know that that is to be trusted. So if somebody says that this doesn't work, then that's what you get. It won't work. And I've experienced the opposite, where I'll send something to somebody and they don't maybe trust me. So whatever I send them, they go, oh, what is she sending now? What is she trying to get us to do? So again, it's the attitude or the impression that the person holds for you that determines whatever you say. So the point that I'm making is, one of the ways of not allowing burnout to increase is to intuitively and logically, intellectually know who to trust with the information that you are sharing or giving with each other. When the person is knowledgeable and has experienced what they're saying to you, then your trust for them builds. When you notice that they're not telling you clearly and it's not connecting and it's wasting your time, and you believe that your life is important, then your trust for them reduces. It's like an automatic energy thing. It's over and over again, they're doing this, they're not doing, it's not right, and so it happens. And I know what it has felt like to not be trusted. It's a very painful experience, because you want to be trusted, but you don't know what is the karmic energy between maybe you and that person. So let's say you trust me with your life, but then I go to this person, they go, I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. So you are in my life to teach me the power and the beauty of trust and why it's so important. I have felt not trusted by people that I think I would value if they trusted me. And then I look at the relationship and I go, I don't know why that is so, but I know there's a karma there that's very deep. So that person is teaching me something that I need to develop more. And you are teaching me something that I enjoy that is so more in me. And so again, everyone, it is so important to be able to put your thoughts in the right form and state in order to not accumulate emotional burnout. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, well said. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, because a lot of times the burnout, we think it's things to do, but if I were to raise your consciousness above the stars and have you look down at your activities on a day-to-day basis, it's not that you have that much to do. It's because your thoughts are taking you somewhere else away from what you're actually supposed to be doing.
And another thing, just another note, Sister Jen, on that, something I've learned from age 3 is to give thanks. Give thanks all the time. I give thanks if I see, I'm out early in the morning with my dog Toby, about 6:30. Already we're at 3 different parks. I go to the meditation park in Occoquan, beautiful town where I live, down the street from where I live in Lake Ridge. And I look at the sunrise and I give thanks to the beautiful sky, the trees, listening to the birds sing, having people take pictures of butterflies, especially, you see them in the flowers. And now we're in the fall season. And I think giving thanks and thanks to people, I'm always thanking people.
Yes,
if they help me, and I give certificates. I give at least, you can ask my husband Mike, at least 10 certificates a month to people at Walmart and my doctors or my dentists or...
but you're very grateful, and that's
Home
why...
Depot, Lowe's, they all have certificates if they're kind and help. And I said, I want to thank you for your customer service.
That's so important.
It's
and
really
that will
important.
also help people who feel stressed or who don't feel appreciated. That act of love and gratefulness and thankfulness just might serve them to release whatever burnout they were holding inside.
I also send copies to their bosses. There was a lovely man who used to help load my trunk in the car with mulch and things and rocks and all. And I said, if you give me your name, I'm going to bring over a certificate of customer service excellence for you.
I love
and
that.
It's framed. I go to the dollar store and get them for $1. Oh, I mean, it's glass and framed. And I frame it and I make sure the boss is there, and I go all out. You can see on my Facebook, I just gave one to a woman at Walmart.
So you've gotten a lot of tips and tools today, because from either attitude, focus, and self-control as a way of releasing burnout. Also, Portia has left us with, show an act of kindness, give a gift, give an award, tell someone that you actually appreciate the service that they're offering, and that they don't have to just be essential workers.
Right.
It could be just somebody who, somehow you had an interaction with, and, you just wanted to let them know that you cared and that, their time and their service to you was important. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed our time together with our wonderful Facebook and YouTube star, Portia Davidson, but also the fact that she has done so much work in the world, and she continues to be of service in so many ways. And for those of you who are online and commenting, now you can give all your thumbs up and marks. I know that you've been going, hey Portia, is that you? Is that how you look? Yes, this is the Portia Davidson that continues to light up our comments fields. Look, I want to really just keep stressing to each and everyone out there, we've got to take care of ourselves. And I know sometimes we put ourselves last on the list. I know that for me, I feel like I'll be forever young, but I need to be also sensible. So if even I can go through that, I can only imagine what others might be doing. And some are just much, much more sharper and wiser in terms of their emotional and spiritual self-care. So kudos to you for sure. But thank you so much for joining us today on The Next Normal. I hope you enjoyed our special little program with our beautiful Portia Davidson today, and just this time together. And I know you're going to give all your love marks to Portia and me and stuff, and we really love and appreciate each and every one of you always to be with us in the evenings. I'm going to close off with a lovely meditation on soul consciousness. And again, as I mentioned in the shows previously, we are supporting the Brahma Kumaris UK special Soul Conscious program that they're offering. So we'll end today's show with this Soul Conscious meditation. And don't forget to look for the Vibrations of Love on Spotify under the Sister Jenna link, and follow us there so that you can enjoy all the free meditations and the songs and all the wonderful gifts that we have as our offering to our humanity to make it into a better place. So thank you, Portia.
Thank you, Sister Jenna.
Everybody knows that if they come in the studio while we're filming, they're coming on air.
Oh, my goodness.
Dr. Ivy, Dr. Kanu Kogod, they all get trapped, and they always enjoy it. By the way,
it's life-changing, really. You are such an inspiration, Sister Jenna. And you see everyone in my notes that we are so fortunate and so blessed to have Sister Jenna in our lives, and not only here in the Washington, D.C. metro area, but throughout the world. And you
Thanks for the plug.
help us every day.
Thanks for the plug.
This
You're
is
sweet.
such a great program. It's such a wonderful show.
You're so
it is
sweet.
Fantastic, really wonderful, magnificent.
So
Bravo
now,
to you.
what's the website for your facial treatments?
Well, it's just Portia Esthetician. I don't do that much, really.
So could you put that in,
I don't
Antonia?
do that much.
It's okay. It's okay.
I do have a spa,
wait,
but
wait. So it's PortiaEsthetician.com.
You can just Google Portia Esthetician, and
Okay,
you'll see
and
my story.
And it's PORTIA. So
unusually.
Antonia, you put it in. The reason why I'm
Esthetician.
saying that is when Dr. Kogod was on a while back, she just shared with me the other day that a person was watching the show and was the head of a large life coach summit. And they were so inspired by Dr. Kogod sharing on our show that she has invited Dr. Kogod to be a keynote for hundreds of life coach
Wonderful. She's terrific.
people
She's
from
wonderful.
around the place. So again, one never knows what happens to you when you get on either spiritual vaccine, which is the old show, but of the next normal. So thanks again, everybody. And I'm not going to be able to communicate with all of you and comment because we kind of talked on and on and on. See, I told you it was going to be easy. But enjoy this meditation, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Take care.
Shanti.
Day 3. Being detached from troubling events. When our life becomes fast, our thoughts can get speeded up too. For short bursts, this might help us to power through a crisis and get things done. But for anything longer than a very short spurt, it's damaging for us. And even when life slows down or you get home at the end of a busy day, you probably find your thoughts still running on and troubling you, and not providing the peace of mind you crave. Also, there are many things in the outside world that are very wrong and unfair. Thinking about how wrong these things are over and over again will upset your equilibrium and take away the energy needed to do good and sort things out. By practicing soul consciousness and then using this technique of detachment, you can find equilibrium even when things are stressful or troubling. Let's start by running through the 2 steps of soul conscious meditation. First, the kind observer. Gaze into your mind with kindness. Be curious, not critical. Have a look to see what you've been thinking so far today. Don't label your thoughts as good or bad. Just watch, compassionately. Next step is to lift yourself above the web of your ordinary thoughts, as though passing above a cloud into gentle light. You rise above the cloud of mind chatter into the higher self, the soul. The higher self feels compassion for all living beings. Allow that open-hearted feeling to spread. This can be your sanctuary. You don't have to be anything other than yourself here. In the few moments of silence that follows, immerse yourself in the experience of gentle light of the higher self, so that you can take from it whatever you need. Right now, the drama of life is carrying on out there, beyond your inner life. Whether you are part of them or not, all its stories move forward, constantly unfolding. For a few moments, we're going to consciously let them carry on without you, so that you can enjoy a sense of detachment from them. The things happening might be very wrong or unfair, yet for this moment in time, you can take a break from analysing or commenting on any of those dramas. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're taking a well-earned rest from all those endless and interlocking stories. The drama of life can be turbulent and provoke strong emotions. Being detached from it for a few minutes restores your inner equilibrium, which restores your inner sense of well-being. So even though these dramas are still happening outside, choose to detach from them. Try this out in the following minutes of silence. Allow the dramas of life to carry on without you, and instead think of the gentle, loving energy of the higher self, the soul, and take yourself into that experience as immersively as you can. As you practice being detached, your energy becomes more coherent and harmonious, and as that happens, your energy levels start to rise, and with it, a pleasant sensation of well-being. Don't pressurize yourself to experience this. Regular practice, done with gentleness towards yourself, will naturally take you there. Be patient and kind to yourself. For now, just allow yourself to sink a little more deeply into being at peace with all events and all people. No matter how wrong or right things are, you can choose to be at peace with them. Here are a few more seconds of silence to linger in this feeling of detachment a little more. With practice, this can become your resting state, and when you re-engage with the drama of life, you've now replenished a sense of peace and well-being. By returning to this practice regularly during the day, you'll feel less thrown around emotionally by unfolding events. Take time during the day to practice detaching from the drama of life. When you stop for a break, be aware of the stories that are troubling you and decide to take a break from them whilst you drink your tea or coffee. Let them carry on unfolding around you, but you pull back from their dramas for a few moments and focus instead on the gently loving energy of the higher self, the soul. You'll be a much more effective player in those dramas when you take regular emotional breaks from them. We're going to explore this in more detail over the next few meditations. But for today, to develop the practice of detaching from the drama of life, use this method for short meditations at least 3 times during the day, in your breaks or in moments between tasks.
We find our nation on a precipice, true tipping point. Is this the moment that will finally change our country? Trying to rain on the thunder. Tell the storm I'm new. I'ma rain on this little love. Tell the sweet I'm new.
It's not a broken system. It was built to function exactly as it is.
We must respond with bold action. This is our country too. We can build new systems that do what they should.
I'm a walk, I'm a march on the regular.
We are united. We are standing.
Follow away.
And we are going to fight this fight.
Freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. I break chains all by myself.
There is something happening across this country.
When we work and when we fight and when we march and when we speak up and when we offer solutions, we win.
I'ma keep running because the winner don't quit on themselves.
It's always the right time to celebrate women and Black women in particular.
It is an opportunity to show the nation and the world that we will act. It has been an inspiration.
You have the choice, and it is that choice that gives you power.
Vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
That is what we need next. Action.
Hi everyone, it's Sister Jenna from American Meditating Radio. I hope you've been enjoying Wise-ish, which you can get live on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45. But you can also get it on demand 24/7. It's going to be your power boost for the morning. It's your daily dose for the soul. It's just going to encourage you to make the day that much more valuable. So join us. Looking forward to seeing you. Hi everyone, I'm Sister Jenna. Welcome to our special Zoom meditation segments. Look, it's no joke. Things are kind of weird. It's just weird. Pandemics, protests, job insecurity, global pause. Everyone's numb, but also everyone's searching. And they might be searching on this little gadget of Zoom in a little box. People from all over the world who don't know each other are coming together in Zoom rooms to figure out who they are, why they're here, and how to meditate. Meditation is something that we've often thought that if we make our minds empty, we've meditated. I don't believe that. I think it's important that we learn how to channel our thoughts in a right way that are connected to our vision, our goal, our spiritual attainments, our mental capacity. Then you're really meditating.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my